Alright. I probably won't get to use it today, but I did what I said I was gonna do. I made a delusion spreadsheet. Delusion trigger spreadsheet. I made this. Why? Why did I make this? I probably won't use it today because it's... I imagine we've hit new ground, but for future playthroughs, I've... Oh! Alright. I just wanted to make it clear that I did what I said I was going to do. I literally said I was going to make a spreadsheet. Did I say spreadsheet specifically? I said I was going to go through and mark off which ones I did and which ones I didn't do. And I did that. Moving on. I'd lost the ability to think clearly. I flung open the door to the base and ran outside. A nasty sweat clung to my whole body, and it made the night wind feel colder than usual. I realized I wasn't even wearing shoes. I could feel the coldness of the concrete beneath my feet. I had to go. I had to go to O-Front, like Shogun had said. I was scared. I didn't want to go. I wanted to head right back in my room, curl up like a ball, and forget about everything. But if I didn't, it felt like something terrible would happen to Nanami. The tears wouldn't stop coming. I wiped them away with the palm of my hand, but my vision was still blurry. Yeah, so he did not receive a hand this time. That is notable. I whispered. My voice sounded even more pathetic than I thought. It made me want to throw up. I shook my head, trying as hard as I could to drive away the weakness welling up inside me. If I stopped for even a moment here, I'd never be able to go to O-Front. I had to keep the momentum going. I was worried about Nanami, too worried to do nothing. That's why I'd run out of my room like this. Keep up the momentum. Get to O-Front and things will work out. Hurry and put on your shoes. Grab your Seiratan figure as a good luck charm. Then run. Just run. Keep the pressure on yourself. Don't bring Seiratan. She is the worst. She's the one who makes this interaction. It's her fault. Right now, you're the only person who can save Nanami. I clenched my jaw. I went to head back into the base and get my shoes, and... As I thought... Wait. And I thought I heard a sound. I leapt up in surprise. I looked toward the source of the sound and saw someone there. Pardon? Nanami? I rubbed my eyes and stared at her. It was Nanami. She was my little sister. I couldn't possibly mistake her for someone else.
Nanami!
Why? I hurried over to her. For some reason, she was stark naked. She was slumped forward, and I couldn't see what her expression was like. Her slender body was shivering.
Nanami!
I didn't know what had happened or what to do. All I could do was keep saying her name. I wanted to give her a big hug, but she'd probably call me a pervert big brother later if I did. Yeah, keep it respectful. Come on. Invite her in or something. Get her a blanket. That's the big thing. Get her a blanket. She slowly lifted her head. Her face was deathly pale. Even her lips were pale. She was so pale I thought she might die at any moment. Her eyes were empty. But big tears fell from them when she saw me.
Oni... Nana wa...
Huh.
どうしたんだよ、お前。大丈夫なの?
Nanami softly shook her head.
ナナはなんでここにいるの? よく思い出せないよ。
I checked her over to see if she was injured. Of course, I avoided looking at anything I shouldn't see. Just so we're clear, I'm not getting horny over my IRL little sister. Not interested in seeing her naked at all. Boy, I hope not. The main thing running through my mind is this actual Nanami or is this delusion Nanami? Anyway, she didn't seem hurt. So what was that blood on her phone then? No, I could think about that later. Then maybe it is delusion Nanami. That's a big hint,
とに
I
かく
think.
寒いから中に。
I offered her a hand. Her movements were stiff. She was still shaking, too. She was like a newborn fawn. She grabbed my hand. She was cold. She was so cold it made me scream.
お前、冷えすぎだろ。
I touched her bare shoulder, knowing that she'd probably yell at me. It was cold, too. Should I get her into a warm shower? Or first get her something warm to drink? Either way, I certainly shouldn't leave her out here naked. Now wasn't the time to worry about what she might think. Oh god, why is it so hot today? I hope the... Oh, it is picking that up. No, stop. Okay, we're good. I wanted to choose the cleanest clothes I had for her to wear, but there wasn't much at all. I didn't have many clothes besides my school uniform anyway. I'd ended up giving her the limited edition Bloodtoon sweatshirt I'd been keeping worn and in mint condition. That's respectable. I'm gonna be honest. Props to him for having his priorities in straight. Priorities in straight. I made some instant coffee for her too. I didn't drink coffee normally, but I'd remembered that a long time ago, Nanami had brought me a bunch of snacks and food from my parents. Mixed in with the lot, there'd been some instant coffee. It hadn't expired yet, so it should still be okay. Nanami was sitting quietly on the sofa. She still looked pale, but getting something to wear had calmed her down. She wasn't shaking anymore. I poured the coffee in a cup and silently handed it to her. She took it without complaint.
ありがとう。
She held the cup with both hands, staring at the black liquid within.
ブラックだね。
砂糖とかミルクとか、そんな気の利いたものはここにはないんだ。
She seemed satisfied with my explanation and pursed her lips before blowing on the coffee. Then she slowly lifted it to her mouth. Was she always that sensitive to hot drinks? I couldn't remember. I'd never actually cared to think about it. Nanami was giving her full attention to the act of drinking the coffee. It seemed to warm her up a little. The color was returning to her cheeks. Well, that's good.
このコーヒー熱いよ。
じゃあ飲むな。
飲むけど。
Then why had she complained in the first place? But at least she'd recovered enough to be able to complain.
なあ、一体何があったの？
Okay, so the screen is like transition. It's now woobly, which I used to think meant something. I don't know what it means anymore. But I'm not used to it changing, so like usually it only happens after a whoosh 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 thing. Huh. I worked up my courage and asked the question that had been on my mind. When I'd seen the bloody phone, I'd been sure that Nanami had been kidnapped by Shogun. But I'd been totally wrong. She was here, not at Ofront. The one thing I couldn't understand, though, was how that had happened. That and where her clothes had gone. It was also strange that she'd be so cold. Nanami just stared into her coffee cup.
わかんない。自分でもなんでお兄の部屋の前にいたのかよく思い出せないの。
Amnesia?
シワだらけの子供に会わなかった。車椅子に乗ってる怪しいやつなんだけど。携帯なくしたような。
なくしたのかな。そもそも7の服どこに置いてきちゃったんだろう。
誰かにひどいことされなかったか。
ひどいことって？
Well, you know, like in an H game, she would have been raped or something. Ah, gross. But I couldn't ask her that. True. And since she didn't seem to be hurt at all, the odds were probably pretty low. Well, that's good. She looked up like she just remembered something.
バングル。お兄にもらったバングルなくしちゃった。
そりゃ服も持ち物もないんだからバングルもないだろう、常識的に考えて。
そうなんだけど、なんでだろう。バングルだけはなくしちゃったことを思い出して。
どこでなくしたの？
それはわかんないけど。
Nanami looked glum. This was getting me nowhere. Talking to her right now wasn't going to tell me a thing. Should I take her to a hospital? Maybe I should call my parents first. They could come get her.
ねえお兄、今日ここに泊まっちゃダメ？
なんでだよ。
なんだかナナ混乱しててわけわかんなくて、あんまり動きたくないよ。
Well, she wasn't being as obnoxious as she usually was. It wouldn't hurt to let her stay for just one night.
親には連絡しとけよ。
That box was still in the corner of my room. I took the bloody cell phone out from inside it. I wiped the blood off with a wet tissue before handing it to her.
ナナの携帯だ。
これ送ってきたのってナナミなの
？She seemed confused. I felt dumb for asking the question.
親に連絡したらシャワー浴びてこいよ。体温めた方がいいと思うし。
The shower was outside. It was a simple prefab shower room placed next to the shipping container, but it did have running water, so I'd insisted on that. What? Alright, I have to Google what the hell's a prefab shower? Prefab? What the heck is this? Okay, it's not telling me what they are, it's just telling me how expensive they are. That doesn't help me. I don't care how much it is at Home Depot, you're not helping me. Alright, I stopped caring. Over it. There was no bathtub, so I went to a public bath when I wanted to take a bath. Normally, though, I just took showers. I mean, if you want to get clean, that's, yeah, you take a shower if you want to get clean.
ねえ、一緒に。
Had my little sister gone crazy? She chuckled when she saw my astonishment.
違うよ。一緒に入るわけないじゃん。でも一人で外に出るのなんだか怖くて。
Yeah, gotta keep watch. Gotta keep an eye out for tomfoolery. Yeah, that'd make sense. She'd shown up outside my place naked, and of course, and couldn't remember how she got there, where her clothes were. Of course she'd be scared.
だからナナがシャワー浴びている間、声が聞こえるところにいてほしいなって。ダメかな。
She was looking up at me. She seemed like she really meant it. The way she looked, crap. I'm starting to find my own sister Moe.
わかったよ。
She was having a bad time today. It wouldn't kill me to act like a big brother for once. I mean, think of all the times she's lending you a hand. It's only natural you'd return the favor. Oh, I made that joke again. Why? I could hear some kind of sound. I was only half conscious, but I could still hear it. What was that sound? I felt like I'd heard it somewhere before. It sounds like a phone. It sounds like a phone on vibrate. Oh, right, a cell phone, set to vibrate. Thank you. Was somebody calling my phone? Nobody ever called me. Could it be that Torianse song again? If so, I didn't want to answer. It was creepy, and the last time I'd heard it, it had knocked me out a full hour. I decided to ignore it and go back to sleep, but once you heard a sound, it was hard to unhear it. And whoever it was kept calling again and again. Listen, enough about my car's extended warranty. I don't have a car! Sorry. I opened my eyes. I was lying on the floor. Nanami was lying on the sofa, or so I thought. When I looked, she wasn't there. Where'd she gone? The bathroom? Or maybe she decided she didn't want to stay over after all and gone home. I still wasn't fully awake, but the phone kept ringing. It had been over 3 minutes now. You'd think it would have gone to the answering machine by now. Maybe I'd forgotten to set it up? They were so persistent that I finally gave in and grabbed the phone off my desk. I looked at the display to see who was calling, and... unlisted number. I couldn't tell who it was then. I really didn't want to answer.
もしもし。誰？
お兄。
Oh my god. It was Nanami. I sighed, relieved. Don't get relieved yet. Where the hell was she calling from? She'd barely been able to stand a few hours ago, and she'd been saying all that stuff about not wanting to even go outside.
ナナミか。どこにいるんだ？
右手を返してナナの右手
You know, for once we can honestly say we don't have it. I hung up. What the hell was she going on about? How annoying! What kind of dumb trick was she trying to pull? Stop wasting my time. I felt silly for being worried. Evidently, she was feeling better. No need to go looking for her then. She was probably calling from the public bathrooms on the floor below. I was really tired. I didn't have time to put up with this crap. I threw away the phone, lay right down, and closed my eyes. So, I'm guessing that was... maybe that was real Nanami? Who is, in fact, missing a hand? Or maybe that part didn't happen at all? I don't know. Oh my lord. I hate you, Sarah. You're the worst. I woke up to the sound of Sarah Ten's voice. Nanami was still nowhere to be seen. Had she really left without saying a word to me? Or had she gone to school? What day was it today? Was today one of the days I was scheduled to go to school? I felt spaced out, like there was a fog settled over my head. I still wasn't fully awake. What time was it? I sat there on the floor, trying to wake up, when...
Ah, お兄、やっと起きた。
The door opened and Nanami poked her head in. Theme music blaring.
帰ったんじゃないのか。
帰ってないよ。泊まるって言ったじゃん。
ということは、やっぱり昨日の深夜のあれはいたずらだったんだな。もう二度とやるな。
いたずら？何のこと？
Nanami had a confused look on her face. She was playing dumb, I realized. She was going to try and lie her way out of this. She must think I was a complete idiot if she was trying to get away with this. In the cold morning light, I realized just how dangerous her outfit was. There was nothing under that sweatshirt. Nothing at all. Yeah. Stop. Each time she moved her hands, the hem of the shirt went up, and it looked like I might see something I wasn't supposed to see. Well then, don't look.
お兄、どこ見てんの？
Eyes up here, mister.
どこも。
She pulled down the hem to cover the top of her legs.
そんな伸ばすな。そのトレーナー貴重なんだぞ。
ナナよりトレーナーが心配なんだ。お兄のバカ。言っとくけど、下着を履いてるもんね。
Huh? You are? That's a shame. Wait, no, knock it off. Don't get horny. Oh my god, I really have to read this, huh? Don't get horny over your own little sister. Where'd she get the underwear from, then? That was actually the first thing I thought of. I was like, well, at least she was back to being the normal Nanami. She looked like she was really in bad shape yesterday, but evidently a good night's sleep had fixed her up. I also smelled something really good. Is that the smell of frying bacon? That is the best smell.
朝ごはん
今作ってるんだけど
The base's kitchen, or rather sink, was outside the shipping container next to the shower room. There was no gas running up to the roof. Instead, there was a simple portable gas burner that I'd gotten for really cheap online. Of course, I never cooked, so I'd thrown it in a drawer somewhere and forgotten about it. Had Nanami managed to find it and drag it out then?
メニューが
サンドイッチとベーコンエッグ
Oh, that sounds great.
ここのキッ
Eggs
チ
and
ン
bacon,
はあんまり
just
凝ったもの作
you
れない
can't
し
go wrong
ね
with eggs and bacon.
それにお兄は貧乏舌だからむしろシンプルなものの方がいいかなって
My normal breakfast was a bottle of soda and a pastry. This would be the first real breakfast I had in a long time. And I never thought I'd want to have my little sister cook for me, but now that she was actually doing it, it made me pretty happy. Maybe I could forgive her for what happened last night then.
よしさっさと用意しろ
Do it.
うわー偉そうまったく少しは感謝してよね
I mean, a please would be appreciated, at very least.
止めてやったんだからむしろそっちが感謝しろよ
それもそうかもじゃあ一応感謝感謝
I thought she'd give me a little bow. I thought she'd give me a little bow or something, but she didn't. She smiled and left.
お兄外で食べようよ折りたたみ式のテーブルあったでしょそれ持ってきて
Crap. I'd just gotten up and already she was bossing me around. That breakfast she was making had better be good. I set up a simple folding table and chairs, the kind you might use when camping, and waited about 5 minutes or so. When it was ready, Nanami brought breakfast to the table and set it down. It looked pretty good. Nanami had always helped Mom with cooking, so she was a surprisingly good cook. Well, only 2D girls were allowed to be bad at cooking, and then say, whoops, I messed up the cooking. I missed up the cooking, ee-hee-hee, when they screwed up. If my 3D sister said that, I'd be really weirded out. I might kick her off the ledge if she tried that. Man, they really are siblings. I love that's such a sibling thing to say. Nanami smiled and sat down in the chair next to me.
なんで隣に座るんだよ
Too close. Her shoulder's about to... Wait. Why are there quotation marks? That usually means someone's saying something. Alright. You're too close. Our shoulders are about to touch. I can't eat with somebody this close to me. Move my chair a distance away from Nanami.
え
Or no.
だって
Am I making that up? I might be
椅
making
子
that
が
up.
置いてあったんだもん
Why were there quotation marks there? That was weird.
お兄が置いたんでしょ
Well, I mean, I guess I did. I don't know. That's so... What is happening? Okay, I need to move on. These were camping chairs, less than 30 centimeters high. Even if a girl could easily pick one up. Even a girl would. If she wanted to move it, she could have.
まあいいやほらお兄食べなよいただきまーす
She put her hands together and then dug in with her chopsticks. She was hungrier than I thought she'd be. Evidently, she was feeling a lot better. It was like the weak girl I'd seen last night had been a lie. Maybe it was a lie? Of course, there was only one reason she'd lie to me.
大好きなお兄と一緒にいたくて嘘ついちゃったの。
Like that? Wow. What kind of H game was this? Lol. I hate this. I hate the lulls. Of course, I knew exactly what I'd say. But I reviews!
お兄、なんかニヤニヤしてる。また変な妄想でもしてた？
I quickly looked away. I took one of the sandwiches and put it in my mouth.
うまい。
It was a ham sandwich with mayo and everything. Of course, it's not like a ham sandwich is hard to make, but considering there was nothing here but a few seasonings I bought, it was pretty amazing.
でしょでしょ。わざわざ朝早くに24時間やってるスーパーに行っていろいろ買ってきたんだよ。
買ってきたって、その格好でどんだけ知女なんだよ。
知女じゃないもん。このままで外歩けるわけないじゃん。ちゃんとお兄のズボン借りてそれ履いて行ってきたよ。下着だって買ってきたし。
So she'd bought underwear then. That meant that until— oh my god, I knew this was going here. But that meant that until she bought the underwear, she was wearing a boy's sweatshirt with pants and with no bra or panties underneath. It's— no, stop.
本当は
Stop
この
this.
トレーナーも着替えたかったんだ
Talk
け
to
ど
me,
さ。
please.
アニメの絵が描いてあって結構恥ずかしいし。でもお兄が着せてくれたんだから勝手に着替えちゃうのも悪いかななんて。
She didn't understand Seiretan's charm. Proof she was an airhead. But while I might be comfortable wearing that shirt in Akihabara, even I wouldn't have the courage to wear it in the middle of Shibuya.
それでお金は？
ちょうどね、借りたズボンに財布が入ってたから大丈夫だったよ。
What? Like, there was a wallet, you know, just hanging around. Don't know whose it was. That's absurd. Her tiny mouth was chewing on a piece of bacon as she spoke. Fine? What was fine?
その財布僕のだろ。僕の金使ったのかよ。
だってナナ、昨日お財布もなくしちゃったもん。
だからって勝手に使うなよ。
Nanami wasn't listening to my complaining though. She was looking depressed as she smashed up the yellow yolk of her egg.
財布もなくしちゃったし、学校のカバンもどっか行ったし、それにバングルがなくなっちゃったのが一番ショック。
I wasn't happy either, you know. I mean, I had enough cash from all the real money trading I did, but it still felt like I'd been stolen from.
あんな安物のバングルなんかなくしたってどうってことないだろ。常識的に考えて。
And it was something I'd given her for free, too. It shouldn't matter to her at all if she'd lost it. Why was it such a big deal to her? Nanami fidgeted.
だって初めてお兄からもらったプレゼントだったんだもん。すごく嬉しかったのに。
You're not gonna fool me. You can act cute all you want, but it doesn't change the fact that you took cash from my wallet.
なのね、
That's fair.
絶対見つけ出すから。なくしたままにしておくなんてできないよ。
For some reason, she was clenching her fists as she spoke. As I looked down at her hands, I saw there was a white bandage wrapped around her sleeve near the right wrist.
その包帯。
あ、これ？
She pulled back her sleeve to show me. Sure enough, there was a bandage wrapped around her wrist. It hadn't been there when I found her naked last night. So this is definitely Nanami. Not Nanami. It's Nanami. Oh my god. Yeah, so
ななの
Nanami is missing the hand. But then where'd the hand? I wonder who has the hand right now. Takumi didn't get it. Now I got it. This was the next step of the prank she was pulling. She was going all out on it. But what was the point?
そんな包帯外せよ。いたずらにしたって悪趣味だよ。
いたずらなんかじゃないよ。朝起きてから右手がちょっとズキズキするの。原因はわかんないけど、とりあえず包帯買って巻いたんだ。
ズキズキ痛むのに包帯だけ巻いたって意味ないだろ。
包帯だけのわけないじゃん。ちゃんと湿布も貼ったよ。
だったら湿布だけでいいじゃないか。わざわざ包帯を巻く意味がわからない。
そうだけど、ほら、病は気からって言うし。
That made even less sense.
いいから取れよ。
I looked like I was casually eating a sandwich, but my heart was racing. Maybe I was overthinking things, but if Nanami's call last night hadn't been a prank after all, maybe her cheerfulness right now was just an act, and she was actually in huge trouble. Trouble she didn't want me to find out. Trouble she didn't want me to find out about it.
もう、ほんとわがままなお兄だな。
She reluctantly began to take off the bandage. I was caught off guard by how easily she agreed. Maybe I was overthinking things after all? I took a bite of bacon and egg, making sure to avoid looking at her arm.
はい、取ったよ。
I gulped and took a deep breath, and then slowly turned to look at my little sister's arm. The skin under the bandage looked just fine. She wasn't injured at all. There wasn't even a bruise. Wait, had she taken the compress off too? I hadn't even told her to do that. I grabbed her hand and brought it closer to my face so I could look at it.
お兄？
傷なんてない。何にもない。
あるなんて一言も言ってないよ。ズキズキするんだって説明したじゃん。
Yeah, that's right. I'd been overthinking things after all. Maybe I was just paranoid after the message from Shogun yesterday. Wait a second.
くそお前の腕が湿布さ。
I winced and pushed her arm away.
そんなの当たり前じゃん。女の子に臭いって言うなんて最低。バカ鬼。
うるさい。さっさと飯食って学校行け。
I didn't want to waste any more of my valuable time dealing with my little sister.
あ、そっか。学校か。でも制服ないのにどうやって行こう。
確かに。
今日は学校休んで家に帰ろっと。ブラウスとスカートの会話あるけど、ブレザーはどうしよう。新しく買ってもらうしかないかな。
As Nanami started mumbling to herself about her next steps, I finished my breakfast and headed back inside my shipping container. Home sweet home. That startled me.
28日未明、渋谷区小東の路上で男性の変死体が発見されました。
Oh, it's this
被害者は練馬区に住む橋谷康之さん31歳で、死因は異物を喉に詰まらせたことによる窒息死とみられています。被害者の口にはハサミで細かく切り刻まれた大量の布が詰め込まれており、また胃の中からも同様の布が多数見つかりました。
Is this different one? This might be a different one. I
警
was
察
thinking
の
of
発
a
表によ
different
りま
one.
すと、布は渋谷区にある私立水明学園の女子
Oh,
冬
God.
用制服である可能性が高いとのことで
The
す。
fuck?
水明学園は現場から徒歩で3分ほどの距離にあり、警察では事件との関連を調べています。
So we got, oh, I kind of wanted to see what that was called, but that's okay, I guess. Another new murder. They died from having chopped up pieces of a Suime girl's uniform stuffed in their mouth? It's horrifying. It's like genuinely horrifying. Could that uniform be Nanami's? Yeah, no way it was a coincidence. The timing was too good. It had to be Shogun. He must have kidnapped her as part of the murder and taken her uniform. Shogun was taunting me. I would be next. It was finally my turn to be killed.
お兄、どうしたの？
I almost fell out of my chair when I heard Nanami's voice behind me.
顔色悪いみたいだけど。
I have good news. We found your uniform. How good are you at sewing? I reached out a hand towards Nanami.
僕は殺される。
殺されるって、そんな冗談やめてよ。
本当なんだ。間違いない。あいつは次こそ僕を狙ってくる。ナナミごめん、僕のせいであいつはお前のこと誘拐して。僕はどうすれば。怖い。怖いよ。
I didn't want to look like a wimp in front of my little sister, but I didn't have the strength to keep it together any longer. I wanted to turn to someone for help. I wanted someone to protect me. Remy hadn't contacted me at all lately. ISA was in the hospital. There wasn't anybody else I could count on to protect me. Nanami gently grabbed my outstretched hand.
もう、ほんとお兄はダメダメだな。一人じゃ何にもできないんだから。
Rude.
きっとゲームのやりすぎで疲れてるんだよ。今日はパソコンはやらずにソファーで横になってた方がいいよ。
僕を一人にしないで。
わかったから。お兄を一人になんかしないよ。
本当？
ほんと。昨日はナナがお兄に優しくしてもらったから、そのお礼。
ナナミ。
Family was so important to have. I couldn't rely on strangers when it really counted. My family were the only people I could really truly count on. I felt so relieved that she'd offer me her hand that I almost cried. I clung tightly to her hand.
甘えん坊だね、お兄って。これじゃあナナがお姉さんで、お兄が弟みたいだよ。
うるさいな。
はいはい。よしよし。
She patted my head jokingly. To her, it might just be a joke, but right now, having somebody touch me made me feel so much better.
ナナミ、頼みがある。
I'm worried. Hold on, I have something for this. Just, please, I beg of you. Video game. If I can ask for anything right now, that's it. That's all I want. Okay, my will is steeled. All right.
何？
Don't ruin it. Since all we usually did was fight, it was embarrassing to ask this, but I couldn't afford to be embarrassed right now.
今日も
なんでそこで黙っちゃうかな。ちゃんと言ってくれなきゃわかんないってば。
今日も止まっていってくれ。
I'd feel better if she did. I couldn't handle the thought of spending the night alone, terrified Shogun would come for me. Nanami probably wouldn't like it, though. She might call me a pervert if I wasn't lucky. I looked up at her, scared of what she might say.
なんだ、そんなことか。別に何泊したっていいよ。
本当？
一応、ナナだってお兄の心配はしてるんだからね。さすがに、今のお兄を放っておけないよ。
ありがとう。助
I
か
was
る。
worried there for a moment, but we're good. This is good. Whew, family really was what mattered most. No, having a real little sister was what mattered most. And I was so glad to have a little sister named Nanami. Oh, that's really sweet. That's... Now, all she had to do was stop being such a brat, and she'd be the perfect sibling. That's... Oh man, that's great. They did it. Nice and wholesome. That was great. Nanami hadn't come back. Oh my god. What is happening? She headed out toward... She'd headed out around lunchtime to do some shopping and get some clothes from home. She'd waved to me as she left, saying she'd be right back. 8 hours had passed since then. During that time, I hadn't gone online or even watched Bloodtoon. I just sat on the sofa and waited for her to come back. I clutched my phone tight in my hand, checking every minute to see if she'd sent me a message. I tried to call her, but only got a message saying the phone was off or out of the service area. Why hadn't she come back? Did our parents say something to her when she got home? Like what? Siblings or not, it's not appropriate for a boy and girl your age to be sleeping in the same room? Question? Oh, I see. Yeah, I could see that. Wait, no, I couldn't. Not a chance in hell. Or maybe they were fighting over her lost uniform? Then I realized she must have been wandering around Shibuya naked before she arrived at the base. Honestly, it's a wonder the cops didn't grab her. I could see our parents going up to the police when they found out. But what if something even worse had happened? What if Shogun had grabbed Nanami on her way home? Or maybe his servant Yua had done it? What if she was already dead? Maybe Shogun had already sent me another message. I didn't have the courage to check the computer, though.
ナナミ、僕を一人にしないで。
I wanted her to come back as soon as she could. I wanted her to skip school and stay with me until things calmed down. Rimi had promised she'd stay with me, but now she was gone. If I lost Nanami too, I'd... The phone in my hand suddenly started to vibrate. I hit the button to start the call almost immediately.
もしもし、ナナミ。
This is gonna be an upsetting phone call, isn't it? Oh, it sure is.
おい、ナナミ、今どこにいる？
お兄、助けて。
I froze. Had Shogun kidnapped her after all?
どうして見捨てたの？ねえ、お兄。
将軍か。あいつに何かされたの？
痛いよ。右手が痛いの。
まただ。
Put down the phone and whispered the words, almost unconsciously. Deja vu. I had the same conversation last night. She told me to give back her right hand then, too. I thought it was a prank. But maybe it wasn't? I couldn't tell. I covered my head with my hands and curled up into a ball. Nanami, where are you? Come back. So weird. I went outside with no real destination in mind. The sky was already dark, and not even the moon was out. I could see the glow of Shibuya in the distance. It was shrouded in a faint glow of light. Even after coming outside, though, I didn't have the energy to go looking for Nanami. Should I try calling her again? It was possible she was just pranking me 2 days in a row. Maybe I was just being paranoid.
お兄、何してんの？
I gasped and turned toward the direction of the voice I'd just heard. Nanami was there, holding shopping bags and looking at me confused. She was wearing different clothes than when she'd left. She must have changed at home.
お前、今までどこに？
ごめんね、遅くなっちゃって。お母さんと一緒に新しい制服を買いに行ってたら、こんな時間になっちゃった。
That was the most likely of the possibilities I'd been considering, but there was one thing that didn't make sense then.
さっきの電話は。
電話って？ああ、メールで送れるって伝えておけばよかったね。
そうじゃなくて、電話してきただろ。僕の携帯に。
してないよ。鬼、ボケボケだね。
She answered with a smile. This conversation wasn't making any sense. I mean, it would be in
そ
his
れより、今日の
history,
晩ご飯、
right?
なんだと思う？
Recent calls.
なんと、ハンバーグだよ。ナナの手作りだよ。これから作るから、お兄も手伝ってね。
Does that kind of phone do that? I don't remember if flip phones do that. It's been so long since I had one. What? Oh, my controller died. No! Okay, let's see. Can I use my phone charger to... Come on. Oh, this would be such a lame reason to have to stop. Yes! Nailed it.
待てよ。電話したよな。右手を返せとか言ったよな。
もう、しつこい。言ってないってば。誰かと間違えてるんじゃないの？
Oh yeah, it was an unknown number, so I guess it wouldn't, like, it would show up in the calls, but it wouldn't prove anything. She looked genuinely annoyed as she headed inside the shipping container. Was she lying to me? It sure didn't look like it. And anyway, Nanami wasn't the type of girl who could to play a mean prank like that. At least, I couldn't remember any time she'd done something like that. So, what was that phone call then? Another one of Shogun's traps? I felt the prickling on my neck. Somebody was looking at me. It felt like... Whose eyes are those? After dinner...
ナナミ、話がある。
何？
She was reading one of the manga volumes I'd piled up in the corner of my room. When she spoke, she didn't look up from the book she had her nose in.
真面目な話だから、ちゃんと聞けよ。
どうしたの？急に改まっちゃって。
She closed the book and sat up straight.
これでいい？
おとといのことは、何か思い出した。
2 days ago was when I found her naked outside my shipping container. Her clothes, her bag, and her bangle were all missing. Her cell phone had been sent to me in a cardboard box covered in blood. This wasn't normal. Nanami had said she didn't know how she'd ended up like that. She had mild amnesia. But what about now? Had she gotten better? The Nanami in front of me sure seemed like the Nanami I knew. Her expression darkened, and she gently shook her head.
まだ。
全く、全然。
全く、全然。なるべくね、そのことは考えないようにしてたんだ。お母さんにも話してないし。おかげで、制服がなくなった理由、ごまかすの大変だったよ。
Maybe I should take her to a hospital after all. What kind of doctors handled amnesia? Psychiatrists? Maybe I could get Dr. Takashina to look at her. Then I remembered that Dr. Takashina had been killed during one of the New Gen murders, and felt a squeezing in my chest.
ナナミ、僕は命を狙われてる。
Her eyes went wide. She probably thought I was crazy, but it was the truth. I decided to open up to her about everything. I mean, you said this the other night. And she was like, ah ha ha, that's so silly. About Shogun, about how I'd seen the third New Gen murder crucified, about all the strange and terrifying things that had been happening to me since then. About the threatening message I'd received from Shogun just before I'd found her, and about the 2 strange calls from the fake Nanami. At first, she chuckled. This is all just some delusion of yours, right? But eventually she realized that I wasn't joking. Her expression tensed up.
いいか、これからしばらくは 一人で外に出ちゃダメだ。どこで襲われるかわからないから。
お兄、ナナ、怖いよ。
僕だって怖いよ。だから二人で協力するんだ。
Together, we could support each other. I wasn't sure how much of a loser like me could provide any kind of support to Nanami, but without her help, I wouldn't last much longer. Ideally, I would have liked someone who could physically protect me, but I wasn't sure about going to the police for help. The detectives I'd talked to in front of the Kurenai building were nowhere to be found since then. What happened to that stuff about sending someone to protect me? That's a fair point. Like, come on, guys. And they might still think, I mean, I guess, you know, Sua is why, but... And they might still think I was the one behind the Crucified murder, too. I couldn't trust the police. I had to stay inside the base as much as possible until I came up with a plan. Nanami was sitting on the sofa, sunk into it. Her arms were wrapped around her trembling body. I sat down on the sofa, staring blankly at the Seiratan poster on my wall. My room was much cleaner than it had been. After I'd finished my story, Nanami had sat there silently for a while, before suddenly saying that she wanted to clean my room. After 2 or 3 hours, it was in a much better state. Nanami had probably wanted to do something to take her mind off what I told her, I assumed. Now she was just lying on the bed. How long had it been since anybody had used that bed for its intended purpose? I vaguely remembered sleeping in it for the first few months after I moved here. I hadn't wanted her to clean my room, but now that it was done, I realized it was the right thing to do. Last night she'd slept on the sofa, and I'd slept on the floor. It had been horribly uncomfortable, and I was glad for the chance to be able to sleep on the sofa tonight. As nocturnal as I was, though, I couldn't go to sleep as early as Nanami. Well, it was past midnight, so maybe it wasn't early, but even that was early for me. I always went to sleep around the time the sun had started to come up. Yeah, that's prime time sleeping hours right there. So here I was, sitting on the sofa, just staring into space. Had Nanami gone to sleep? I couldn't hear the sound of her snoring. Maybe she read my mind, because she turned over in the bed and poked her head out from the covers.
ねえ、お兄。
寝てなかったの？
うん。
Nanami looked like she wanted to say something. After a few moments of hesitation, she whispered.
あのね、一緒に寝てあげようか？あ、別にナナが一緒に寝たいわけじゃないよ。ほら、ダメダメお兄は怖くて一人じゃ寝つけないみたいだから、本当は嫌だけど、今日だけは特別ってことで。
Her words started to have more and more force behind them. She wasn't coming out and saying it, but from the sounds of things, she was too scared to sleep. And so now here we were.
もし、いやらしいことしたら、本気で怒るからね。
するわけないだろ。
わかんないじゃん。ついムラムラしちゃったりするんじゃないの？
しないって言ってるだろ。妹にムラムラなんかできるか。
それはそれでちょっとショック。少しくらいムラムラしてほしいな。
誰がするか。文句ばっかり言うなら一緒に寝るのはなしだ。
ごめんなさい。もう言いません。
She pouted and fell silent. This was more embarrassing than I expected, and my heart was pounding too. Even if she was my little sister, I'd never been this close to a 3D girl, let alone slept in the same bed as one. I said I didn't think she was cute, but that was a lie. She actually kind of was. I mean, he did call her Moe earlier, so, you know. And why was she looking at me anyway? Close your eyes. Don't look at me.
なんだか変な感じだね。ねえ、お兄はナナのこと鬱陶しいって思ってる？
It's only weird if you make it weird, so don't make it weird.
ふーん、思ってるんだ。
I did. She was bratty, she talked back, and she wouldn't leave me alone. At least, that's what I used to think. After spending more time with her the past few days, I had changed my mind. She was in bad shape herself, and yet she was always there to smile at me when things were rough. Maybe having a little sister wasn't so bad after all.
思ってないよ。
別に思われたって平気だよ。ただね、勘違いしてほしくないんだけど、ナナはお兄のこと嫌いなわけじゃないからね。
What was she talking about?
お兄って前入院してたでしょ？それで
入院はしてない。通院してただけだ。
嘘、入院してたじゃん。
Oh, we're getting some cross memories here.
し
Uh-oh.
てない。お前の勘違い。
そうだっけ？まあいいけど、とにかくお兄が学校も行けなくて大変だった時にナナがしっかりしなくちゃって思うようになったの。いつもお兄に口うるさくあれこれ言ってたのだって、そういう理由なんだよ。お兄が嫌いだったからとかじゃないよ。昔はお兄が病院に行くようになる前はナナはいつもお兄に甘えてたよね。お兄はナナにとっては頼りになるお兄だった。お兄のこと大好きだった。
So you have to say it in the past tense?
だから
This is adorable.
今度はナナ
I
がしっかりして少しでもお兄の負
This is
担にな
super
らないようにしてお兄の役に立とうと思って。あんまり役に立ててたかどうかわかんないけど
ダメな兄貴でごめん。
Maybe because of everything that was going on, I found myself able to say things that I'd never be able to say otherwise.
気にしないでいいよ。兄弟だもん。それにナナは昔の頼りがいのあるお兄のことも知ってるし、どんなにダメでもナナはお兄のこと嫌いになんてならないからね。
ナナミ。
I had no idea she felt that way. It made me so incredibly happy. I couldn't believe that I'd ever hated having a 3D sister. I was so glad she was here.
でも今日はちょっとだけ甘えてもいい？さっきは強がり言っちゃったけど、本当はね、一人で横になってるとどんどん怖い想像ばっかりしちゃうんだ。だからお兄に甘えたかったの。安心したかったの。
She curled up and put her head against my chest. Nanami smelled good. Don't smell her,
ず
please.
っとこう
No
した
need,
かっ
no
たん
need
だ。
for the smelling.
ずっとお兄に甘えたかったんだ。
I wrapped my arms around her slender body, tightly, so tightly. As long as she was here, I didn't need anything else. Not my Seiratan figures, not my ESO rep, none of that. All I needed was my living flesh and blood sister who cared about me so much. Feeling the warmth of her skin made me feel so much better. The next thing I knew, I'd fallen into a pleasant sleep. That was really sweet. Little awkward, little bit, but like overall wholesome and sweet. I enjoyed that. I woke up on the sofa with the world shaking and about to get the worst phone call in the world. Let's go. Fun.
俺
That's strange. I'd been sleeping in the bed with Nanami. Had I come back here at some point without realizing it? I looked up at the bed. There was a bulge in the sheets. Nanami was evidently still asleep. I checked the time on my phone. It's 8? That's 8, right? 20 hours? Something felt strangely wrong. Something wasn't right. But what? What was this strange sensation in my heart? What day was today? What day was it today? I didn't remember it being November yet. And why the hell was I waking up at 8 p.m. at night? Had I been out for 20 hours? No, that was impossible. Being with Nanami had made me feel a lot less tense, but not so relaxed that I could sleep for almost a full day. Maybe my phone was broken and showing me the wrong time? That's weird. I looked at the date on my computer clock. It said it was just past 8 p.m. on November 4th.
嘘だろ嘘だよ
Also, I just noticed one of the file names on his computer is arrow.jpg. Golly gosh, I wonder what that is. I booted up my email software and internet browser at the same time and began to look around the news sites. They all had the same date, November 4th. I read a bunch of articles too. One of them bothered me. Complaints? No, I want to read that. Stop scrolling. No, I want to read it. It was dated October 28th, 1 week ago. Did it have anything to do with the message from Shogun? It said, oh, this is like, because he didn't go to Ofrent, so there wasn't the whole psychic boy thing. Oh, I wish I could like scroll up on this. I want to read the whole thing. Alright, I'm just gonna read. So, they're talking about like he was gonna show up. He was backed by American psychic investigator Yuri Brightman. Would appear at Shibuya Scramble Crossing that night and use his powers to find the new Gen killer. The message was signed by none other than Yuri Brightman himself. And both TV Today and Mount Fuji TV decided to do a live broadcast at 9 p.m. that night. This bold decision would unfortunately end poorly for them. The boy never appeared, and the live footage showed nothing but angry crowds screaming in the Scramble Crossing square. TV Today and Mount Fuji TV both had their customer service lines flooded with complaining callers. A press release issued by TV Today's media relations department stated, between the earthquake and the new gen cases, Shibuya is one of the most focused on spots in all of Japan right now. As custodians of the public airwaves, we decided the event was worth broadcasting live, even if the source was unreliable. We believe the decision was appropriate. The origins of the message are still unknown as of press time. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so he didn't show, and so the whole psychic boy thing was like ended up being just a big nothing burger. Did it have anything to do with the message from Shogun? His message had told me to come to Ofrent at 9 p.m. This couldn't be a coincidence. There was more. Okay, here we go. What was this? It didn't make any sense. Yeah, group dive pregnant man? Crucified vampire or brain dead, yummy. Some of them are missing words. Like it's pregnant man and yummy hand, right? And then Dokun puzzle. And then to be continued. The 6th new gen case was supposed to be SMJK, right? I don't remember that one. And what the hell was the 7th case? Dokun puzzle. When had that happened? Oh! Okay, so in this SMJK, I guess is the one. I guess that's the one they called where the guy ate the uniform. I don't understand SM. I don't know what that stands for or what that means, but I assume that's what that is. But this is like the actual list of what actually happened. So that would never happen in reality. Interesting. So it's not just like delusion Nanami showing up, it's like there's like a whole separate world right now. We're in like a delusion timeline. Interesting. So this is like the actual list. I froze, staring at the new gen site. Seira's words brought me back to my senses. From the look of it, I'd had so many messages that it had taken time to download them all. The software had only just now finished. "53 new messages, and they were all from Shogun." And this is the fake Shogun. This is Suo. From the look of it, he was pissed off. I'd never seen Shogun use language like this before. Sweat started to pour from every pore in my body as I just sat there in terror and confusion. I clicked on the newest email. Titled a nice and friendly, "I'm gonna kill you, you piece of shit." He really knows how to start a convo, you know? It's really... What's going on here? What the hell was going on? Alright, so... You ignore me for a full week, huh? You honestly think you can get away with that? If that's how you want to play this, then I guess it's gonna be Nanami who pays the price. I might go overboard and kill her, but don't blame me, okay? It's your fault. Calm down. Don't lose control. Think. This has to just be a delusion. Yeah, that's right. A dream. It's just a dream. Before long, it would end, and then I'd wake up. I'd be back in the bed with Nanami. This was real. That was real. This wasn't. I think it might be the reverse. But it's interesting that, like, this is the one that has the woobly, which is, like, kind of implying that this one is the dream, but I think that's because he thinks this one is the delusion. And that's why it has the woobly effect. Fascinating. Okay. The sound of someone banging on the door echoed through the room. Someone was here? I held my breath and stared at the door. Silence. Nothing at all to indicate that someone was there. Just when I thought I was hallucinating. Another knock. I wasn't hearing things. Was it Shogun? Was he finally here to kill me? But instead, I heard a surprising voice from the other side of the door.
Nami.
Huh? Why? I looked over at the bed. Nanami should have been sleeping there. There was a bulge in the white sheets after all.
Oi, Nanami. Okiro.
Oh, is it gonna be the hand? Is the hand in the bed just the hand? I climbed halfway up the ladder to the bed and tried to wake Nanami up. The sheets didn't move at all. Something was wrong.
Nanami!
I ripped off the sheets. What I saw was a bunch of boxes. Nanami wasn't there. My mind went blank. The bed hadn't been cleaned up. There was no way somebody could sleep here. It was just a bunch of boxes filled with manga and H-game packages. It was a storage space, just like it had been yesterday before Nanami cleaned it up. Nanami had cleaned it up? Yesterday? It was better than what I thought he was gonna find in that bed. I looked around the room. It hadn't been cleaned up at all. Why hadn't I noticed when I'd woken up? I was confused. My memories were all messed up. The voice outside the door again. Nanami's voice. Who was that Nanami? Where'd the one who had been sleeping in my bed gone? What happened to the Nanami that I found shaking naked outside my room? I didn't understand. Nothing made sense. I staggered over to the door on unsteady feet and then fell up against it. The door was padlocked from the inside. There was no way to leave if the padlock was closed. Nanami couldn't have left me without me knowing it. It was impossible. I thought I was going to cry. This must be another one of Shogun's attacks, I thought. But I had to open the door. I could hear Nanami outside. She sounded so weak and helpless, and she was calling my name. I unlocked the padlock and slowly opened the door. Hey. You look You look like you're doing good. Nanami was there. She was wearing her missing uniform. Her whole body was covered in blood. Her right hand was severed at the wrist. She was holding a sword I'd never seen before, a D-sword. She was looking at me with empty eyes. I was too shocked to speak.
どうしてあの時来てくれなかったの。1週間も待ってたのに。お兄助けてってずっと呼んでたのに。
This was a delusion. This was a delusion. This was a delusion.
右手が痛いの。返して。7の右手。右手を返して。朝起きてから右手がちょっとズキズキするの。
Which was a delusion? Which was real? What was it I'd been seeing? Who had I been talking to? What happened to that Nanami? Where did this Nanami come from?
お兄。
Suddenly, I heard a voice behind me. In front of me, I could see Nanami covered in blood, but I could hear her calling me from behind. I slowly turned around, and Nanami was there. She was wearing the clothes I'd given her. Her right hand was still attached at the wrist. There were two Nanamis. Boy, where had we seen this trick before?
そいつ誰？
God. The two Nanami said the same thing at the same time. Nanami looked at the other Nanami suspiciously. And Nanami looked at the other Nanami with tears in her eyes. Surrounded on both sides by Nanamis, I
これは妄想だ。
I dropped to the ground and put my hands over my head. If this was a delusion, I hoped I woke up soon. But this was horrible. It wasn't the kind of delusion I wanted, but I still didn't snap back to reality.
その偽物。
Was she
何
mad?
なの？
Was she mad? The bloody Nanami slowly moved. She raised the D-sword. It was as big as she was, and terrible, almost painful to behold.
なんで偽
Oh,
物
no,
が
that's pretty cool.
お兄と一緒にいるの？そいつのせいでナナを助けに来てくれなかったの？ナナは偽物じゃないよ。そっちこそそんな変な剣持って偽物じゃん。
This is incredibly awkward. They both had Nanami's voice. They both had Nanami's face. They both called me brother. Which was real? Which was fake? Were both real? Were both fake?
偽物のくせにお兄から離れてよ。
The bloody Nanami swung the D-sword easily with her one hand. She was aiming it right at the neck of the unbloodied one. Well, don't do that. Nanami froze. Nanami's aim was true. This is gonna get real confusing real quick. The D-sword dug into Nanami's neck and passed right through. So she has not real booted the sword. I'd just seen the sword slice into the neck of the unbloodied Nanami, but no blood came forth. There was no injury. She was just standing there, just like she had been a moment ago. I'd seen the other Nanami swing the D-sword. At the speed it was going, it should have chopped her head clean off.
やっぱり偽物。あ、ナナをなんで？
Stop it.
偽物だからだよ。偽物じゃない。
Shut up.
お兄、離れて。そいつから離れて。違うよ、お兄。ナナはここにいるよ。
黙れよ。
I screamed. I couldn't take it anymore. None of this made any sense.
どっちかが妄想だ。僕の妹は、ナナミは二人は存在しないんだ。
I looked at both Nanamis in turn. They both looked like the Nanami I knew, so I turned to the one wearing the clothes I'd given her. I made a wish that this was the real Nanami. I wanted the one I'd held so tightly in that bed to be the real Nanami. I wished, and I reached out my hand. Toward her face. I went to touch her cheek, but just like the D-sword had done, my hand went up to her cheek, passed right through. And Nanami was right there, but I couldn't touch her. I didn't feel a thing. It was like she was a hologram. I felt a sadness taking over my mind that I couldn't control. Huge tears started to fall down my face.
そう。嘘だよ。ナナは偽物じゃないよ。ねえ、お兄、そうだよね。そうだって言ってよ。
Nanami came toward me. She went to give me a hug. But the Nanami in front of me had no real body of her own. Her body passed right through my hands.
違う。違うもん。ナナはここにいるもん。
Nanami's right hand gripped my left. I could feel it. It was gripping my own weakly. Her body, her neck, her head, none of them were real. But her right hand was touching me.
化け物。
The bloody Nanami, the one missing her right hand, screamed.
お兄から今すぐ離れて。
She screamed, and then the strength drained from her body. She fell, still holding the D-sword. That Nanami was sweating terribly. The color had faded from her face. Of course it had. She'd lost so much blood. She'd even had her hand cut off. Of course she'd collapse. A terrible thought came to me. I knew it was impossible, but it was the only thing I could think of that would answer what was going on. An answer out of a nightmare.
そうだよ。
A voice that wasn't Nanami's.
タクが今考えた通りなの。
On the other side of the fallen Nanami, standing outside the door, was...
リミ。
And where were you? No, I know. Rimi Sakihara, holding a D-sword shaped like a pair of wings. Our eyes met. She was looking at me with such sadness in her eyes.
あなたが今右手を握っているそのナナちゃんはあなたがリアルブートしようとしている存在。
Real boot?
現実に耐えられなくなったあなたが産んだの。理想度を持ってるナナちゃんが本物なんだよ。嘘言わないでよ。ナナの方が本物だもん。たく、あなたはナナちゃんの切断された手首を見てショック状態になったの。そして妄想した。そんな手首は見てないって。ナナちゃんは5体満足で無事だって。
I hadn't seen any hand. Shogun had sent me a blood-stained cell phone, but that was all. How does she know? How does Rimi know all this? Like, she's... I get that she would understand, like, generally what's happening, but she's being very specific right now. Or had he sent a hand, too? Yep. I just forced myself not to see it. Forced myself to have no awareness of it. And then that naked Nanami was something I created? And the real Nanami was the one lying on the ground in front of me, with her right hand cut off after she'd been captured by Shogun.
嘘だ。
本当なの。ねえ、タク。今すぐ妄想するのをやめて。あなたがしようとしていることは、人間を一人、丸々作り出すっていう恐ろしい行為なんだよ。あなたは今、核兵器のエネルギーをも上回る力を使ってる。
I mean, to be fair, the real, like, original Takumi did the exact same thing, just with himself.
そのせいでこの一週間、
So,
あなた
you
は
know.
ほとんど昏睡状態だった。自覚してないかもしれないけど、タク、このままじゃ本当にこの世界に二人のナナちゃんがいることになるの。それにあなたがその妄想に力を使えば使うほど命の灯火が失われていく人がいるんだよ。だから
嘘だ。
ごめんね。あなたを守れなかった私の責任だよね。だけどお願い。辛いかもしれないけど現実を見て。今すぐ妄想を止めて。お兄、消さないで。これ以上妄想を続けるなら私があなたを殺す。
This is really sad. I knocked Nanami's hand away. I was tired of all this, sick of all this shit. I had no idea what to believe. Believe Rimi? Impossible. Believe the Nanami who was looking at me and crying? Impossible. Believe the Nanami lying on the ground holding a D-sword? Impossible. Believe myself? Impossible. All I had ever wanted was something simple and small. To live in peace. To not have anybody bother me. To live quietly with Nanami, my sister. That was all I wanted. It was all I ever wished for. Was I not allowed to wish? Was I not even allowed that? Then all of you can just disappear. This whole world can just disappear. And then I'll live inside my head, inside my delusions. Just me and Nanami. Not a real Nanami or a fake Nanami. Just Nanami.
僕は
I looked into Nanami's eyes. They were shining, wet with tears. Nanami was looking at me.
ナナミがいてくれればそれでいいんだ。
And right after I said that, the world shook.
サードメルト。
Impeccable timing. My wish came true. The world was bathed in white. It covered everything and blew everything away. I opened my eyes to see the ceiling of my shipping container. I was lying down on my bed. Huh? Had I been sleeping? It felt like I'd just been... It felt like I'd just had a very scary dream. A really, really awful dream. But it was just a dream. It didn't even matter if it was a dream or it was real. It didn't matter if this was real or a delusion. There was a weight and a softness at my chest. I looked down. Nanami was there. She was sleeping, resting her head on my chest. Our eyes met. She was looking at me. She was staring. Her eyes were dewy, her cheeks the color of cherry blossoms.
昨日の夜はありがとう。
This is very sad. At first, I didn't know what she meant.
ナナの気持ち受け入れてくれて嬉しかった。お兄に愛してもらえて 嬉しかった。
Okay, you made it weird. Nope, I'm out. Goodbye. See you later. I gotta go. Nope, I'm out. Nope, that's it. Nope, it's over. Goodbye. Nope. Okay. Nope. Why? Life is pain.
お兄のこと今までよりずっとずっと好きになっちゃった。
Oh, so this was like an H game then. I accepted the situation much more easily than I thought I would have. You're alone in that, I'm afraid. It's... I have to read this too. Nanami looked so cute, so beautiful? Why does it... She wasn't just my sister. She was a beautiful girl.
これからも
Please stop.
たくさんナナのこと愛してね。
だが断るって言ったら
I refuse. I don't want to be part of this. I said, my old bad habits coming back. Nanami sat up and pouted.
もう真面目な話してるのにお兄のバカ。
She got out of the bed. I realized I'd made a mistake and tried to figure out how I should apologize. Only then did I realize I was holding something in my hands. I brought it up to my face and realized it was a bangle. It wasn't the one I'd given her before. It was fancier and cuter. It would look much better on her than the last one. I got out of the bed.
ななみこれプレゼント
I put the bangle on her right wrist. For some reason, it felt a little embarrassing, like I was giving her a wedding ring.
わあ、かわいいバングルだ。ナナにくれるの？
I nodded. She smiled and looked so happy.
大事にするね。
ななみ僕たちはずっと一緒だよね。
いきなりどうしたの？
ずっと一緒にいたいんだ。ななみとずっと一緒に。
やだな。そんな大胆なこと言い出すなんてお兄らしくないよ。熱でもあるの？あ、わかった。からかってるんでしょう。
本気だよ。
お兄、それって兄弟として？それとも一人の女の子として？
両方。
両方。両方か。お兄の気持ち初めて聞けたかも。ナナのことそんな風に思ってたんだ。
キモいかな。
キモくないよ。むしろすごく嬉しい。
I don't have a lot left to contribute here. Kind of out of
お
ammunition.
兄がそこまで言ってくれたんだし、
I'm running on empty.
ナナも一緒にいてあげるよ。ただし一つだけね、条件があるの。
条件。
ね。
She fidgeted a little. Her face was bright red. She was staring into my eyes.
キスしてほしいな。
That's what she said. That's what she said. I'd do anything she wanted. I'd made my decision. From now on, it would just be the two of us. I didn't need anything else. As long as I had Nanami, that was enough for me.
ダメ？兄弟でキスなんて不潔かな？
Yeah. 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 That's... I shook my head.
そんなことないよ。
But you're wrong, though.
お兄。
Oh, my lord.
大好き。
She leapt at me. I kissed my little sister. I need to... It's a special place in hell for me, I think, after this. I could feel her sweet breath. It made me feel so happy, so fulfilled. My love for her was overflowing. But for some reason, it felt just a little sad. I mean, probably because you had to nuke the world to get here, but you know, what are you gonna do? A hot tear fell down my cheek. Oh, thank God. I was worried that was actually how it was gonna end, because holy shit. Okay, maybe. I swear I felt about... What? This world was for me and Nanami. I just... wouldn't let anybody invite it. I had to be the big brother now. Oh my God, it's going so fast. And protect her, no matter what. Oh my God, that is how it ends! What? No! Okay, so, world... Fuck the world. Who needs reality in the world when you have your little, your nice little incest bubble? Yeah. I mean, whatever. He's neither of them are real. Whatever. It doesn't count. Doesn't count if they're both like brain creations. I don't even know anymore. The song is hilarious. Like what a... My brain, I can't. That's too much. That's too much. I knew it was gonna be weird, but like that's too much, man. I have nothing. I have no input. I have no like. I don't have anything to unpack. It's a lot shorter than I thought it'd be. I thought, you know, I've been going for an hour and a half. Maybe the endings are like, shorter. Shorter chapters. That was definitely a short chapter. It's like an ending chapter. I don't know. I think I don't know if I'll ever be the same after that. I don't think I'll be able to recover. Wonderful stuff. You know, what are you gonna do? And there it is. I could just like yeah, I think it's just gonna be a short one. It's just gonna be a short one today. I gotta go. There's a glass of bleach with my name on it. And boy howdy, I'm a little parched. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go die. Bye. See you on Thursday.